Thank you for joining me, you guys. So today's video is going to be this Mojo Monday sketch. I got it from Pinterest. Just make sure you pause here to get all your measurements, and let's get started. So once again, I do have it already prepackaged in a cellophane bag that I have. It's 6x6 or a little bit bigger than 6x6, and it's where I like to actually put a lot of my pads as they start to get smaller. And I pre-did my sentiment just like with the last Friday's video. And on this one, I decided I was going to show you two options. One would be with a stamped sentiment or image, and then one with using this chipboard flower piece. And I'm going to start right off, and I'm going to go ahead and dip this in my Versamark ink so that way it gets it all sticky. And then I'm just going to get my gold embossing powder, and I'm going to dab it right in. And then I just pick it up using the edges and tap it over the actual embossing powder. And then on this one, I'm going to hit it with the EK Success powder tool and stamp my flower. I'm trying to put it up as high as I can so that way I can put my sentiment towards the bottom. And then once I stamp, I'm going to grab the same gold and just pour it over the image and tap off the excess. Excess. I hate that word. Excuse me. So once I get that done, I'm grabbing my Nuvo brush here, which is really great because sometimes you do spill a little embossing powder or glitter or what have you, and that brush really helps sweep it up and keep the desktop neat. So now I'm just heating up my heat tool, and we're going to heat this up. And before you start it or, put it to the paper, if you're worried about it, let your heat tool warm up. I sometimes hit it from the back and let it warm up that way. Now for the flower, because obviously it's really too close for me to be holding it in my hand, I'm holding it with this pickup tool in one of the circles and then using the heat tool to melt it. And then I kind of tilt it so I can see if I missed any areas. And it turns out on this particular one I did. So you're going to see me, I know I'm off screen, but I place it down and I'm hitting it one more time with the heat tool to make sure I've melted all the embossing powder. Alright, so now we're going to set those to the side and we're going to start building the cards. So what I did stop the camera and I put the one card together off camera. On camera here, I'm going to do my second one. I'm putting down the ATG tape and my art glitter glue. And we're going to line it up, putting down the mat first. And then we're going to grab the focal image, like the pattern paper, I guess I should say. That's going to go on top of that. And that size, when I do my mats like this, the large pieces of paper, it's usually 4 by 5 1/4, and then I go an eighth of an inch bigger for my mats. So the pattern paper is 4 by 5 1/4, and then the black paper that it's going on top of right now is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And it just gives you a nice clean border. And then this was probably one of my favorite paper pads, and luckily I still have a full paper pad. But the blues in this one, they're just really pretty and they create really nice cards. And I think they're cards that you could really use for male or female, even though there's flowers in it, because it's not overly like glittery or doesn't have a lot of foil or stuff like that that you may feel like isn't appropriate for masculine cards. I think that it can go to a guy just as easy as a girl, because it's just a really pretty card. And you can make it happy birthday, happy anniversary. You can really make them anything. I need birthday cards, so that's why a lot of mine lately have been birthday. So on this strip, I made sure that it was 4 inches in length because I wanted it to line up to the pattern paper, not to my mat piece. And you could, I didn't do it on either one of mine, you could put a mat on that piece as well. I think it's a 1/2 inch. So you would just add 1/8 of an inch, make it 5/8 by, what did I say, 4 1/8 if you wanted to create that border. And then I'm just sanding my edges on the spots where it felt like it was a little rough. And now we're going to get ready to attach our main image here, and then we'll attach the sentiment. And you could really even step this up by adding fun foam to the back of the different layers. That would help give it a little bit of added dimension. I'm going to actually, after I attach the sentiment with some foam tape, I'm going to add some Nouveau drops. Because I felt like since everything was kind of like in the bottom part of the card, I was like, okay, so we got to put something towards the top here. So I'm just going to add 3 of the Nouveau drops going straight down. And I did the white on this one. And I think I did white on the other one too. And then you can see on this one, I used the chipboard flower and then put the sentiment going around, like right through the center. And there's our cards. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to leave them down below. And in the more section are all my links to social media, Facebook, Instagram, uh, all the typical places. And at the end, I will have links to previous Friday sketches. And thank you for joining me. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.